Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a new Naruto manga 694 prediction. Now, before I get started, there's going to be two quick announcements that I have to make. The first one is going to be about the Versus matchup channel, the Otaku Battle Dome. We're finally back and we're ready to go, and we're going to be ready to go actually as soon as tomorrow on September 27, 2014 at 9 p.m. So basically this Saturday, make sure you check out that stream. For those of you who have been looking forward to it, you finally got your wish, and I can't wait to do a stream tomorrow with the guys. The next announcement that I have has to do with my own manga series known as Gods of Life. Some of you probably are familiar with the Kickstarter video that I had put up, basically talking about it, and I also had a link to the one-shot story in there. So some of you may have checked out the one-shot story, but Gods of Life is now having its Chapter 1 release next week, Wednesday. So a little bit less than a week since today is Friday right now as I'm making this video. So make sure you check that video out, or check the manga out on October the 1st. I know a lot of you guys will love it. The art style is a bit different because I have another artist for the main series as opposed to the one shot. So I definitely think you guys will enjoy it, and let me know what you guys think about it. Now, to move on to the chapter this week. Well, first thing I have to say is I got it on my birthday. I mean, that was amazing. My 21st birthday. And I knew that was going to happen too. When Wednesday rolled around and I did not see the chapter, I'm like, well, I know the new chapters basically come out on Thursdays most times now anyway. So it was just an excellent treat to actually be able to wake up on your 21st birthday and actually, read not just the Naruto chapter, just any Naruto chapter, but basically the early beginnings of Naruto versus Sasuke. So, I mean, it was almost like a gift from Shonen Jump or something. Like, here you go for turning 21. And most things I have to say, like as far as becoming 21, people usually care about getting their first drink of alcohol, or their first legal drink, I should say, more specifically. But I don't personally care about that a lot. So getting Naruto versus Sasuke was way better than actually having a drink or something like that, since I don't drink really at all. Or actually, I'm just gonna say I really don't drink. I've only had a drink maybe once, twice, around in there. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let me go ahead and recap this chapter real quick. So of course the chapter starts off with us seeing basically Sasuke and Naruto continue their conversation from the previous week, and Sasuke actually basically elaborates a little bit more on his plan, or how he plans on breaking Infinite Tsukuyomi. He tells Naruto that basically, well, one, he's going to kill all the tail beasts, and we already know that he wants to do away with them. But for right now, he's basically just going to cast them off to the side because he's going to use them for later in order to break the Infinite Tsukuyomi, which I had already pretty much predicted that he was going to do that, because I'm like, okay, he doesn't need Naruto. Naruto more or less needs Sasuke even more, unless he wants to slap a new eye on his freaking head. So yeah, he's going to use the tail beast, and he's basically saying that Naruto, no matter which way you look at it, you have to die, because he's now the Jinchuriki of all the tail beasts. He's their meeting place, and he has all of their chakra in him. And because he needs to get rid of the tail beasts, as a whole, as an entity, he has to either kill Naruto or the tail beasts. If you think about it. Now, he didn't add this part in, but I mean, if I'm going basically with the logic that Sasuke's playing, or you would have to release, or I guess remove the tail beast chakra within Naruto, and that would ultimately kill him too. So there's really no way around Naruto dying. In all scenarios, Naruto dies if you're going according to Sasuke's plan, that any traces of the tail beast need to be erased. So of course Naruto, he's not going to be down with that. I mean, it's Naruto, and he's telling Sasuke he's not going to let him get away with this. And this upsets Kakashi. Now, Kakashi, we all know he's not in no position to talk right now. I mean, he can't really do anything. I mean, Sasuke could have just gave him that look and been like, Kakashi, who you think you're talking to? But anyway, Sasuke basically says, Naruto, let's take this somewhere else. And that's when Kakashi tries to step in. He falls on the ground. And I kind of had to get a little bit of a laugh in when I read the chapter. Maybe I should have did some kind of live reaction to it, because I was like, okay, Kakashi, everybody's already gotten you on the fact that you've been spamming Kamui like no tomorrow during the war. occasionally you'll feel some kind of effects from it during the war, but you basically seem like you were like greater than, I would say, a majority of Uchiha. You didn't have any ill effects from it. And it's like, okay, let's say we let the whole Kamui thing slide. I feel like it's a little bit too late, and it really doesn't make sense to have him fall down now. Because why? He just used perfect Susanoo like probably like 5 or 6 chapters ago, and I'm like, do you realize Sasuke with regular Manga kill Sharingan? This is like before he got the EMS, before he got Itachi's eyes, could barely do rib cage or do like the half body Susanoo without feeling some ill effects from it. In fact, Sasuke almost passed out numerous times in the Five Kage Summit because he said he felt every cell in his body hurting from that. And you mean to tell me Kakashi, he does perfect Susanoo, something that I feel like shouldn't even have been a feat of Kakashi, and he's just now kind of stumbling over or falling over. I'm like, okay, that makes absolutely no sense. It doesn't even add up now. As far as you might as well just not even have him fall over at all now, because technically speaking, if Sasuke could have barely held a half body Susanoo with regular Manga Kill Sharingan, Kakashi doing perfect Susanoo should have equaled instant death. And if it didn't equal instant death then because Obito was helping him, definitely now if he's gonna feel it, he just should have fell out on the ground dead. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Especially looking at how Kakashi has no unique properties. He's not a Senju, Uzumaki, or any kind of Uchiha trace to him. But I don't know. Sorry about that little bit of a rant. But to further go on with the chapter, after that point, of course, Sakura, she gets upset. She starts tearing up, and then she says her piece. She goes and rants to Sasuke. Basically says that even though she never thought Sasuke would come around, she still was there for him. She always loved him. She still wanted him to be saved. And Sasuke gives her that look. He looks back. Oh man, I laugh at that face that Sasuke had made. And we see Sasuke freaking lunge his hand at Sakura, at least in the panel that they had shown on that page. And when I first saw that, I'm thinking in my head like, whoa, like that really escalated quickly. I did not expect Sasuke to go ahead and kill Sakura just like that, But that obviously wasn't the case. I mean, I think that would have been interesting if that would have happened, but I don't know. I'll talk about it more at the end. So after that point, of course, we find out Naruto's like, this is a genjutsu. Why did you do that to Sakura? She passes out, and Kakashi's basically, or no, Sasuke's basically like that. She just would have gotten in the way. Wish she would have gotten in the way a little bit. But anyway, Kakashi goes on and tells Sasuke, like, you just basically want to hate everybody. She loved you. She did this, blah, blah, blah. Sasuke basically just, casts it all aside. And, he thinks back to his family for an instant. So obviously something Kakashi said got to him a little bit as far as him trying to push everybody away. But I think that kind of has to do with natural human dynamics, that people do that. So after that point, Naruto and Sasuke leave to go to the special place that Sasuke said that Naruto knows where he wants to go, which ends up being the final valley. Now, meanwhile, of course, then that's when we got the whole talk between the Sage and Kakashi, which was generally the same thing the Sage always says all the time about his sons and how he felt about his sons and who he entrusted the path to. But he also basically says that he hopes that this time, with Naruto, the way Naruto is, and the fact that he was able to change Kurama, that it'll be a love or a hate that's transformed into love instead of a love that's transformed into hate, since that's usually how things go. So that was kind of a nice touching thing. I know there was one particular thing that I did like in the page where they showed Naruto and Sasuke running to the valley, and when the Sage was talking about, I know it was some quote. In fact, let me see if I can find that quote real quick. I thought it was a really nice quote, actually, or a nice thing to quote, I should say, more specifically. Oh, here we go. It says, the past does not exist to remind us that the future cannot be changed. It exists to show us what the future can be. And I felt like that line right there that the Sage said, is really true. I mean, I'm like, bad things happen to people all the time, but in a sense, you have to look at it like, well, how can I make things better? You can't live in the past of how things are. I mean, in Sasuke's case, as tragic as what happened to his family is, he should look at the events that happened, which I guess you can say Sasuke is doing that to some degree in terms of trying to prevent the situation that happened to the Uchiha clan, happen again. But you should try to basically change things for the future rather than live in the past. And Sasuke does that. He's doing that in terms of his plan to some degree, but in terms of how he treats people, he's all the same as he always has been. At least the way I look at it. So after that part, of course, you have Naruto and Sasuke say their words to each other. And the chapter basically for the rest of it focuses on them and them have their discussion. And then Naruto basically tells Sasuke he's not going to let him become Hokage, and that he doesn't even know what it means to be Hokage. And he quotes Itachi basically talking about how those who are recognized, though you don't become Hokage and then you're recognized. You're recognized. You become Hokage because you were recognized. And Sasuke, he's not hearing any of that, even if it is Itachi's words, because his title or his definition of Hokage is completely different. And that is basically the end of the chapter. So next week's chapter, we're gonna find out what his definition of Hokage is. Now, in general, you've been hearing my thoughts on the chapter all throughout this. So I guess this wasn't my normal recap that I would usually do, but I enjoyed every bit of the chapter. I mean, aside from the Kakashi thing, and I still enjoyed that in, I guess, a comedical sense, which, I mean, I don't think Kishimoto intended that to be a comedical piece with Kakashi falling down. In fact, I know there's no way he probably could have intended that to try to make us laugh, but I find it a little funny that now Kakashi's having those ill effects. But other than that, I mean, the hype is there. I don't care what anyone says. I'm excited to see these two actually go at it. I kind of wish that they fought at a different location, but I'm not going to dock the chapter because of that. And the only reason why I said it is because the valley to me had more significance for Madara and Hashirama to fight there, because I believe that was the place where they used to skip rocks originally, and then it ended up becoming the valley. In Naruto Sasuke's case, yes, that's where they had their last fight at, where they fought at the valley at the end when Sasuke was getting ready to leave. But I kind of feel like, why not find another location? Can't there be some other location that they could have picked that they could have founded the valley on? I mean, heck, I would have even liked it if they would have went back to the training ground that they did the bells test on, and then that would have ended up becoming the valley, something like that. I mean, I know that may have been a little weird for some, but just a little bit of a change. But I know, obviously, the valley we're seeing right now isn't going to stay that way. There's no way. Naruto and Sasuke are too powerful now. I mean, they're even more powerful than Madara was and Hashirama was. So, those statues aren't going to be standing. That water is going to be everywhere. And we already know they're going to be probably flying through the air, clashing, and going all over the place in this fight. But still, the beginning of it, I would have preferred to be in a different location. But it's not... It doesn't break the fight for me. It doesn't change it, because I still like the symbolic value of it. I just feel like it would have been slightly more better if it would have been somewhere else. As far as pacing throughout the whole chapter, I thought it was really well paced. I mean, it had a lot of high points to me. Like, I mean, even as simple as us thinking that Sakura may have gotten killed. Everybody's high attention with this fight. So I mean, it was a possibility. I mean, unless you, I guess, pay attention to the movie Naruto the Last. But if you weren't really thinking about that during the chapter, and even if Sakura is in Naruto the Last, my thought was when I read the chapter, oh shoot, she, like if Sasuke even had made that attempt, even if Sakura didn't die, because let's say Naruto healed her later on, the fact that he took that step still to me felt pretty huge. But since he didn't actually go ahead and do that, I guess it goes to show that Sasuke clearly still cares about them a little bit, or he still cares about Sakura to some degree. And I'm not talking about a romantic sense, but at least as a person. Because if Sasuke really would have wanted to kill Sakura, we all know he could have ran that Chidori in there. He could have did it, but I mean, he didn't do it. He just cast her aside with Genjutsu. So, he obviously was holding back a little bit. But it's still pretty cool that he was able to do that. I find it funny that Sakura is supposed to be a Genjutsu type and she can't do anything against Sasuke's Genjutsu. So, I don't know. But it's the end of the series, so we're never gonna see her probably do anything like that. Um, Trying to see if I covered all the points. I'm wondering when the Sage of the Six Paths is gonna disappear. Probably sometime soon. But next chapter is probably gonna revolve around focusing on Sasuke's true intentions of being a Hokage. So, because I mean that's what he said. I think it probably has to do with him. Maybe I think he has probably a similar idealism to Danzo more than probably what he would like to say because we know that Sasuke hated Danzo for what he did. But I mean, he's trying to do everything on his own, sort of like how Danzo was trying to do. He's trying to run things, and Sasuke works in the darkness, sort of like how Danzo does. I mean, we all know, like Sasuke's ideal of Hokage has to be sort of like a dictatorish type way, which I think is the general consensus at this point from amongst most fans. And another reason why we know that is because even if he happened to kill Naruto right now at the Valley of the End, and Naruto dies, and Sasuke takes the tail beast, releases Infinite Tsukuyomi. Look at it this way: everybody's gonna be pissed because Naruto is basically, their hero. He protected them through this whole war, and then everybody already hates Sasuke, so it's like nobody's gonna want you to be Hokage, and that's Naruto's point. So whether or not he has a certain vision of what a Hokage is, or he has a different definition of Hokage, it's all still the same. I mean, unless Hokage is no longer a leadership position in his eyes, it's something else. So I'm really interested in seeing what Sasuke's going to do. I think that's going to be the focus of all of next week's chapter, and maybe the last few pages will actually see them actually do a clash, and maybe the Sage. I'm thinking, I don't know if he's going to disappear next week. I'm starting to doubt it a little bit. Well, I know he's going to disappear at some point. Yeah, he probably will disappear next week. Um, or I'll probably say the following week. I don't see the Sage disappearing next week. We're probably not going to get any focus on him. It's going to be probably totally focused on Sasuke's true intentions, his ideals. That's going to be the whole thing about the chapter because we don't actually know. We haven't known for probably a good while what Sasuke actually wants to do. Ever since he resurrected the Hokages, we don't know his actual goals and plans on how he's going to go about things now. So it's about time that Kishimoto addressed some of that stuff. But I really don't see. Some people think the chapter is going to end on 700, and I thought that too at some point. But now I'm thinking like, I don't know. I think it may be at least like 5 or 10 chapters after that, as far as the Naruto series ending, because you know that fight would be super short. It would be like 4 chapters if Kishimoto wanted to tie up everything in that point. I mean, because they were already about to be at 694. So and I assume that chapter is probably going to take a chapter to at least explain where Sasuke's trying to do, what's his goals, what's his plans now, what's his intentions. When Naruto's going to have to say his whole response, and then probably the following chapter they're going to have a fight. Really actually go at it because they haven't actually exchanged a blow yet. So I don't think the chapter. I mean, the fight's going to be like 4 freaking chapters. I mean, it would be kind of short. I mean, I'm thinking at least at minimum, like, I don't know, a good 8 chapters, 9, 10. I'm thinking maybe about 10. I think that would be a fair thing for a fight we've been waiting years to see. And 10 chapters is basically a volume, so I hope we get that at least. But I know I've been a little bit long-winded in this video, guys. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I don't really have a lot I can actually predict at this point because we're all just looking for that epic fight. The location's been picked. These two are ready to go at it. And I need to make a video about Naruto the Last. What my thoughts are going to be on that. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And don't forget to check out the things that I left in the link for you guys. So anyway, see you guys later. And my rating before I head out is going to be Kage Level. I thought it was a Kage Level chapter. That's what I'm giving it. See you guys later.